The legal battle between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken Hollywood by storm. But beneath the headlines, there's a deeper psychological story at play, one that reflects classic narcissistic manipulation tactics. Could this legal dispute be an example of smear campaigns, gaslighting, and public image control? Let's break it down. We're not making definitive claims about anyone's guilt or innocence. This case is still unfolding, and new evidence may emerge that changes the public's understanding. Just like you, we are learning in real time as the case develops. Our goal is to analyze the psychology behind high-profile disputes and encourage critical thinking. Now let's dive in. This legal battle began in December 2024 when Blake Lively filed a formal complaint against Justin Baldoni with the California Civil Rights Department. She accused him of sexual harassment, creating a hostile work environment, retaliating against her after she spoke out. However, Baldoni immediately denied these claims, arguing that Lively was distorting events to damage his reputation. As speculations grew, Baldoni's legal team released behind-the-scenes footage that appeared to contradict some of Lively's allegations, raising questions about her true motivations. But is there more to the story? While Baldoni's legal team argues that the released footage contradicts Lively's allegations, her legal team has stood firm, claiming that the footage is incomplete and lacks crucial context. According to Lively's representatives, the real incidents of harassment took place off-camera or in moments not captured in the released clips. They argue that Baldoni's attempts to control the narrative through selectively released footage is a tactic used to discredit victims. This raises a critical question. Is this an attempt to expose false accusations, or is it a strategic defense meant to cast doubt on a legitimate complaint? When a powerful figure in Hollywood feels their control is slipping, they flip the narrative to turn the public against their target. They'll manipulate media narratives to make themselves appear as the victim, rally allies to isolate the person they're targeting, destroy credibility so any counterclaims are dismissed. As the case gained momentum, things escalated. Baldoni responded with a $400 million lawsuit, alleging that Lively and Reynolds intentionally spread damaging claims to remove him from the project. But is this a genuine legal counterattack, or is Baldoni also playing into the Hollywood power struggle, fighting for his own reputation? Could this be a case of a Hollywood power move disguised as a victim's plea? Originally, Baldoni had been the driving force behind adapting It Ends With Us for the screen. As both a producer and director, he secured the rights to the novel and was committed to staying true to Colleen Hoover's emotional story. Fans were excited when Blake Lively joined the project, not just as the lead actress, but also with creative input behind the scenes. But then, tensions started brewing. Reports suggest that the legal dispute between Lively and Baldoni wasn't just about harassment, it was about power. Ultimately, these creative clashes evolved into a full-scale legal war, with both sides digging in their heels. But was this truly a case of workplace misconduct and retaliation? Or was it a power struggle over who would control the final vision of the film? While Baldoni aimed to remain faithful to the novel, Lively reportedly wanted a more personalized interpretation, making major alterations to key moments and shifting the story's focus. One major point of contention was whether the film should stay true to the novel's romantic struggles or take a broader, more abstract approach to abuse cycles. When someone feels their influence slipping, do they resort to drastic measures to regain control? Ultimately, these escalating tensions boiled over into legal action, raising the question, was this truly about justice or about ensuring control over the project? When a manipulator is confronted, they often use DARVO, a psychological defense tactic designed to shift blame and confuse reality. The pattern follows 3 key steps. Deny. That never happened. Attack. You're the one trying to ruin me. Reverse victim and offender. I'm actually the real victim here. At first, Lively's accusations painted Baldoni as the aggressor. But as new evidence emerged, including set footage contradicting some of her claims, the narrative started shifting. Baldoni responded with a $400 million defamation lawsuit, alleging that Lively, along with Ryan Reynolds and their publicist, orchestrated a smear campaign to destroy his career. Could this be a classic example of DARVO, but with Lively as the one flipping the script? Some experts argue that false allegations can be a powerful tool when used strategically, especially when someone in a position of influence wants to eliminate a rival. By framing herself as the victim, Lively may have preemptively discredited Baldoni before he could challenge her control over the project. Is this truly about justice, or could it be a high-level power play masked as a fight for accountability? In Hollywood, image is everything. When a person's reputation is challenged, the battle doesn't just play out in court, it plays out in the media, on social platforms, and behind closed doors. At first, Lively's accusations painted Baldoni as the villain, and major studios distanced themselves from him. His talent agency dropped him, and industry insiders mocked his name, a move that seemed designed to humiliate him publicly. But then, Baldoni fought back. He launched a website exposing private conversations between himself, Lively, and Ryan Reynolds, revealing a very different side of the story. If Lively was telling the truth, why would there be zero indication of mistreatment in their personal messages? Narcissists rely on selective storytelling. They present only the parts of a story that benefit them. They leave out context that might weaken their claims. They create confusion by mixing truth with lies. As Baldoni's legal team subpoenaed more records, Lively doubled down, demanding access to his private communications. But was she seeking justice, or trying to find new ammunition after her initial claims lost credibility? This is no longer just a legal battle, it's a war for public perception. Most Hollywood disputes settle quietly behind closed doors, but this one, neither side is backing down. According to Forbes, mediation efforts between Lively and Baldoni failed because Lively reportedly refused to meet face-to-face. While Baldoni's legal team showed willingness to negotiate, Lively allegedly declined, opting instead to push forward with legal action. But why refuse mediation if her case was strong? Some argue that narcissists thrive on conflict, not resolution, because for them, winning the narrative is more important than settling the truth. In many workplace disputes, creative disagreements can escalate into full-scale battles when egos and control dynamics come into play. Hollywood is no different. At its core, this legal war may not be about justice at all, it's about power. Who had more control over the production? Whose vision mattered more? Who had the influence to dictate the film's final direction? When narcissistic personalities feel their control slipping, they don't back down, they escalate. But what if this case was never about the allegations? What if it was about ensuring Baldoni never got the final say? This lawsuit isn't just personal, it's career-threatening for both. Millions of dollars are being poured into legal battles. Baldoni risks losing future directing deals. Lively faces potential backlash for claims that are disproven. Hollywood has a history of protecting its biggest stars, until they become a liability. If this case drags on, one of them is bound to lose. But the question is, was this ever just a straightforward legal dispute, or has it evolved into something bigger? A battle not just in court, but for control over careers, reputations, and public sympathy. In today's world, social media is the ultimate weapon in a smear campaign. Narcissists no longer need traditional media to manipulate public perception. They can shape the narrative themselves through Instagram posts, Twitter statements, and selectively edited content. But what happens when someone weaponizes victimhood? From the moment Lively's allegations surfaced, the public was divided. At first, her claims were widely accepted and Baldoni faced an immediate backlash. But as new evidence emerged, people began questioning whether this was a legitimate case or a calculated attack. Could this be an example of a false victim narrative designed to destroy a career? This case highlights a larger issue, one that goes beyond Hollywood. How many innocent people stay silent out of fear of being smeared? How many powerful figures use defamation as a tool to remove obstacles in their career? Here's what happens when someone calls out a narcissistic manipulator. They deny everything. They rally their allies to back them up. They use their industry connections to silence the opposition. They go on the offensive, making counter-accusations. Sound familiar? What if Baldoni never had a chance? What if Lively's accusations were a power move disguised as a fight for justice? This isn't the first time Hollywood has seen this kind of manipulation. One of the biggest red flags in narcissistic behavior is how they craft an image to gain public trust. In Lively's case, she has spent years carefully cultivating a strong, empowered, relatable persona. Is this case exposing a hidden side of Blake Lively that Hollywood was never meant to see? This legal battle isn't just about who wins in court, it's about who wins the public relations war. And if history tells us anything, narcissists always make sure they control the final narrative. So, what can we learn from all this? Smear campaigns are a common narcissistic defense. Narcissists will flip the script to make themselves the victim. Controlling public perception is more important than the truth. In toxic workplaces, speaking out often leads to retaliation. Have you ever seen a smear campaign in action? Let's talk in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns of real-life narcissistic behavior, subscribe to Toxic Truth.